Hey, Mr. Miyagi style. Hey guys, I'm on day 2 with the Ace Pro 2. So far I'm liking it. I promised you guys I would do a review on this, but that was a ways back. I didn't think I was going to get this so late. So I'm going to do something a little different. We've seen a bajillion reviews of the Ace Pro 2 against each other, against GoPros, against DJI, so on and so forth. So I don't want to do the same thing. It's just repetitive. What I'm going to try to do is just to pick out the things that I like about the camera, the things that changed from the Ace Pro to the Ace Pro 2, the improvements, that kind of thing. I want to cover those things, and there are some things that I've noticed that content creators didn't go over. And these are minor, but no matter how minor they are, for me anyways, everyday use is actually convenient, and it's kind of as oh, thank God they changed this, right? But I've only had this for 2 days, like literally day and a half maybe, because I got it yesterday. And I'm gonna go over a few things just to do a second segment here. One thing I had to do was this whole focusing thing. So I'm gonna move into little bits and pieces of the camera so far that I've seen. The display is a little bit, it's a little bit more responsive than the original Ace Pro. And I like that they enlarged the letters, like the pause timer. It's actually a little bit more organized than previously. It's just easier to navigate. And again, the numbers and the text is a lot bigger. The labels are a lot bigger. The screen is supposed to be a smidge bigger on the Ace Pro 2. I don't really notice it, so it's not a huge deal. Like I said, if you look at it side by side, you can really not tell the difference between the two. So on the text side of the numbers and the text of the display is actually bigger, but the icons are smaller, which I like. I prefer it better because I can read the text very quickly and I can't read icons. That could be different for you guys or anybody else. The interface I really like because I find it a little bit more fluid in terms of going up and down. This way, you got the full menu. It's nice. The Ace Pro is good too, but it's just a tad smoother on the Ace Pro 2. I think it's just because of the new AI chipset that's in there that's giving it a little bit more of a smoother display. But again, not a deal breaker or not a big deal, not a huge deal. Just little things like that I've noticed. The other thing too is they've changed the clarity zoom. So on here, the clarity zoom is an arrow, whereas on here it's going by number. So it's 1x right now, which is normal view, and then we press it again, it's 2x, and that enables clarity zoom. And if you do this one, it just gives you that blue button on there as well. If you click on this part, this is where the big change is on the interface. So if you look at it, it's much more pleasing on this side because the text and everything is bigger. So it's easier to navigate. I can read this much easier, and it's up and down navigation instead of left and right. I just find this method a little bit easier to do, especially with if I'm using it one hand, I can just scroll with my thumb this way, where it's harder for me to go this way. Again, not a huge deal, just little things that they've improved on. If you look at the photo mode, I'm just going to switch to photo mode. The one big change, they added something on the screen. You'll notice that there's a shutter button. So when you're pressing down on this, you really have to kind of press down hard to hit that button to take a photo. It's not very sensitive. So initially what happens when you do that, you're actually pushing down your camera and you're moving your camera while taking a still photo, and that can really affect the photo itself. For example, if I press this down, you'll notice that when I'm pressing down, I move the camera because it's such a stiff button. Whereas this one, I can just press this button and I'm not even moving that camera at all downwards or at all. I'm just touching the screen. So this is a much easier method to take a photo. That could pose a problem if this is in a dive housing where you can't access the screen. You would have to resort back to the record button at the very the hard button at the very top rather than the soft button. So, but yeah, that's kind of neat that they changed that. And actually, I was using that and I was testing them both, and I actually much prefer the on-screen shutter button. because I keep my hands are more still. So, anyways, those are the display changes that I've seen so far. Again, guys, I haven't really had much chance to play with it. I've only had a couple days. The second thing that I noticed so far is connecting Bluetooth to the mic, to my DJI Mic Mini, the Mic 2, and the remote. It's much faster as well, and it seems to be more seamless, less headache, because I know the Ace Pro sometimes it doesn't like to connect to the remote, sometimes it doesn't connect to the mic, so on and so forth, and you have to kind of delete it, reconnect it, repair it, and that kind of thing. I didn't have an issue so far, but again, I've only had this for a day and a half, so I don't know. I'm gonna do a little bit more testing, but like when I turned on my mic and the remote, it automatically connected to the Ace Pro 2 immediately without any issues. I didn't have to go in and reconnect it manually, which I had to do sometimes, most times, with the Ace Pro. I found that the connectivity Bluetooth wise, as well as the preview remote, it's much faster, but it is almost instantaneous in terms of connecting the DJI mic to it, and also the preview remote. When I'm connecting the Ace Pro to either the mic, the DJI Mic 2 or the DJI Mic Mini, or even a preview remote, it has an attitude, for lack of a better term. Sometimes it likes to connect, sometimes it doesn't. And a lot of times with the DJI mic, I had to actually delete the paired DJI mic and repair it again. Whereas I haven't had to do this, and when I turn the mic on and this Ace Pro 2 on, it instantly connects. So far, anyways, that I've tested, it instantly connects to the DJI mic and also the preview remote. So I'm gonna turn my DJI mic on, and let's see if this connects automatically. Yeah, see, it's almost like instantaneous, which is really cool. Whereas the Ace Pro, uh, sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. Most times it does not automatically connect to the mic. I have to actually go into the menu and click on the mic, and it'll connect the mic. I mostly have to do it manually. With this one, I haven't really had to do it manually. Now I've got a DJI 2 connected to this right now. The other thing they also changed with the display is you'll notice that this is connected right now to the Ace Pro, and this one's connected to the Ace Pro 2. You'll know something different. They've actually now added the volume meter on the Ace Pro 2, which you don't have on the Ace Pro. Okay. This also pops up when you have a lava mic connected directly with the USB, or you have the receiver connected to the Ace Pro 2. So you now get that volume meter. And as I mentioned earlier, that when I connected this mic, it gave me two options, and it gave me the option just to use the external mic, or it gave me the option to use both mics. I've managed to plug this into this directly without an adapter. That's another great thing about this. That I can do that with the Mini that has a little USB-C port that plugs right in here, and I can just connect it right into the port, and it instantly connects to the mic, and I get that volume meter again, and I can just record away. It sounds great, by the way, if you use the Mic Mini. I'm gonna turn on my remote, and this should also connect almost instantaneously. Let me see. I don't know if you guys can see this. Probably better if I'm over here. Yep, it connected. The auto connect works much better on here than it does on the Ace Pro, from my experience, anyways. And so far, what I've found out, the Ace Pro still has issues with connectivity in terms of you have to kind of go back in and repair it sometimes, or you have to manually connect it. Whereas the Ace Pro 2 seems to be connecting everything very quickly once you turn them on. So that's a bonus on for the Ace Pro 2.
Next thing that I noticed, for me anyways, it's minor for probably a lot of people. For me, it's useful. They've actually improved the battery door. It's a locking battery door now. I think when you slide it, it clicks, which is nice because there was some issues and there were some complaints about users accidentally bumping that battery door open. So you shouldn't have that problem now.
They've really improved on the door, especially the battery door. One of the biggest complaint was the Ace Pro battery door being accidentally bumped open easily. I haven't really encountered that myself, but there has been a few people that's complained about that door. So Ace Pro 2 has improved on the door. It now has a little button. It actually is like a locking mechanism now. When you close it and you slide it, it's actually pretty tight. Oh, let me just, how do you do that? So when you close it, it'll click. So it actually locks the door now until you press that button again to open. Whereas this one, you just pull it and then you have to lift to open it up. And when you close it, you just push it back in and slide it in and make sure it's tight. Now the problem with that is this is very easy to push down or bumped open from like I said, I've had no issues on my end, and I've had two of these. The trick with the Ace Pro is when you put in your door, a lot of people, what they do is they just assume that it's sealed. But what I do is when I close it and I push it in, and I just slide my hand here and just make sure and push it up and just make sure it's sealed tight. And I think that helps seals the actual door to the chassis. This is my other thing that I noticed as well. They've also redesigned the USB door. Similar, I think it locks a little bit better. You'll see the two doors on here. I don't know if you guys can see it. So this one has kind of a button here, but this one has the button at the bottom or a little thing. I like this door better than I'll show you why, and it's the stupidest thing, but it drives me crazy. So I always have this plugged into my computer for downloading, charging, whatever, right? So what happens is I don't think I pull the cable out, and what happens is this part here gets caught in the door here, like it just lays on the actual head. And I've yanked the door right out by doing that, which drives me kind of nuts. And my door is probably a little bit loose now, but it's fine. It's not loose when it's on. So that, like, it's not, like I said, it's not a big deal, but it's annoying when you do it so many times. And I'm always plugging this thing into my computer, right? Now, what they did here was interesting. So I don't know if they did this on purpose or it was just because they redesigned the door, it does that now. So when you open the door, you notice it flaps, right? But if you lift it up, the click stays open, which is great. So now I can plug it in. So when I yank this out, that door stays open. I don't catch the door and pull the door out or break the door or whatever. So that's, I know you guys are probably thinking that's the stupidest thing, but you know what? For me, this is awesome. Like it just saves me a lot of frustration when I yank, and sometimes when I yank it out, I pull the whole Ace Pro over because it hooks onto this to this edge here of the first one. So that's kind of a neat little thing that I noticed. I don't know if you guys care, but yeah. The panels, they've redesigned the door for the USB. They've redesigned the battery door. Again, they've listened to their customers. So they've done those two things to secure the door. And so far, we've not heard of any leaks.
Next up, what they added. So the new batches are coming with these, they're called lens guard silicone bumpers. If you guys knew me from way back, I actually designed and created my own lens bumper for the Ace Pro.
The new batch comes with these rings, these silicone rings. If you guys remember, I actually designed these rings, a very similar idea that I did with these, with the Ace Pro, the original one, because the lens is flush and it sticks up, protrudes out of the camera. You have your camera and it falls over, or if you drop it this way, what happens is that gets really scratched up or chips on the corners of the lens guard, stuff like that. That's a problem with the Ace Pro, the first one, because Insta360 says this is not removable. You're not supposed to remove it. Okay. But we all know that it is, and you can replace that. I designed and printed these for the camera, and they work really well. I've been using these for months, and I have two Ace Pros, and I love these because they give that extra protection of the lens guard and also the lens itself, the glass part itself. It's interesting to see Ace Pro 2 gives you these now. It's similar to this, okay? It's just a much thinner ring, but it gives you that one extra level of protection around the guard itself, and you just have to stretch it out and pull it and just fit it right around the guard. Okay, so you'll see it here. Everybody can see it. It goes right around, and it's just a rubber or silicone piece, so it protects the guard. Why did they do this? I think it's a great idea. I think it's nice of them to actually do this because DJI doesn't do this, neither does GoPro, and it actually prolongs the life of the lens guard. Okay, yes, the Ace Pro 2 now has a replaceable lens guard, but there's still 20-25 bucks a pop for these things. GoPro's the same. I think DJI is the same as well. If you can save a little bit of money and not have to replace these every time it gets nicked up or scratched up or chipped or whatever, then hey, why not, right? And for Insta360 to give you something like this and two of them for free, it's great. Like it just gives you that extra protection for that guard. That said, kudos to them and nothing against Insta360. This is a great idea. The design could be a little bit better. I actually prefer mine, and I'll be using mine. The one that I designed and printed out of TPU. TPU is a flexible plastic, and it's very strong. You can actually pull it, and it doesn't break, and it's flexible. The one that I designed for the Ace Pro actually fits the Ace Pro 2. The reason why is if you look at the 2, okay, this one looks bigger. Yes, it does look bigger. It protrudes a little bit more, but it gives you that extra protection. It protects the lens guard all the way around. It has a thicker, wider bezel, and it actually protrudes out a little bit as well, about 2 millimeters from the actual lens, the glass. Okay. The one that came with the Ace Pro 2 does not. It does give you a thin protection on the side, but it does not protrude out to give you that protection for the glass. Now, the reason for that is because if you're like this and it falls over or you drop this or it gets scraped this way, I tend to put my camera face down just because I want to save, I don't want to wreck this part, and I sacrifice that, right? Now, I know this is replaceable, but if that gets like this and you, I can take this and I can go like this, and I don't care, right? I wouldn't do it with this, even with that lens guard on, because it doesn't, you can still touch the glass onto the surface. If there's pebbles or whatever, it's gonna scratch that if it's uneven, it'll scratch that lens. So it would have been nice if they made this up a little bit, protrudes up a little bit, just to give that extra protection for that glass part. So, and that's why I'm using mine, because mine does come up, and it's a wider protection around the lens guard itself. And the one that I designed for the Ace Pro does fit the Ace Pro because it's stretchable, right? You can just stretch it out and it fits snug and it's not coming off. And the other reason I don't want to use this is because, let's say if I take it off, if I put a dive housing or whatever, and I take this and I put it back on, it's really, it's a little difficult to put on because you kind of have to stretch it and you got to place it right. If you don't place it right, you have to, you know what I mean? You have to really fiddle around with it to get it on right. And there's been times where I'm stretching and putting it on, and I went to put it down and misses it. And the thing just slingshots across the room. And there's been times where I just pushed this a little bit and the thing just flew right off. Whereas this one here, mine, doesn't come off very easily. And if I take it off, it's very easy to take off, very easy to put on, and it's on there snug. It's not going anywhere. Okay, so that's with it. But kudos to Insta360 for including these. Great idea. A little bit better design, I think. I think I like mine better. Hint, hint. Interesting though that they came out with this because I came out with this for the Ace Pro months ago, and anyways, the microphone is nice. I love the wind muff on this. It does kind of look weird because it protrudes out a little bit, but it is effective, and I think a lot of content creators saying that it works really well. The only thing I don't like about this is on mine or about anybody else's, it's really hard to get off. Like I have to really push it to pop it out. And the only time I would really use pop that out is if I'm using it in a dive housing. That's really so it's not a big deal. I don't dive every day, so I'm not removing that every day. And if you buy, I believe if you correct me if I'm wrong, for the people I didn't get the dive housing for this for the Ace Pro 2. I believe the new dive housing has a spot because it's really long in the front. The cavity for the lens is quite tall, and I think it compensates for the wind muff. I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but you can. It is confirmed that you can use the Ace Pro 2 camera in the Ace Pro dive housing, whether it's third party or it's the original OEM dive house. The only thing that you have to do is you have to remove this wind muff or it will not fit. Okay, but it does work, and that's been confirmed.
The other thing, the battery. And you'll see what it is. I've got the quick charge case, and I'll do a review on that because it's a multi-purpose case, charging case. It has a built-in battery, and it actually charges it without plugging it in. And it will actually support the X3, X4 Ace Pro batteries and the Ace Pro 2 batteries, which is phenomenal to have. As for the battery is confirmed. It is backwards compatible. I got the 2 battery combo kit for the Ace Pro 2, and I've got the actual secondary battery in my Ace Pro because it is a bit higher capacity, so it will last a little bit longer, and it works just fine. And the chargers are the same, everything's the same, so that's great to know. See, there's a lot to do here, guys. Like I said, I'm only on day 2 of my camera. It's a really nicely built camera. Like the build quality is the same as the Ace Pro. I noticed the hinge also. I think somebody already mentioned this. It's a little bit more robust. It just feels a little bit more tight, quote unquote, than the original Ace Pro. So I think they've improved that hinge as well. Power programming function. Somebody has already mentioned this. This is one of the change lists that I saw, which I thought, oh, this is great. Again, this is something for divers. We can now program our power button to do certain actions.
The power button customization. So if you want to do photos or anything like that, or videos underwater, and you want to activate clarity zoom, in the Ace Pro 2 you could not do it because clarity zoom was only available on the screen. You couldn't do it with a button or anything like that. And it was actually one of the suggestions I sent to Insta360 way back from the beginning, and it's great to see them fix that or added that as an option. So what I mean by it, let's say if you have the Ace Pro dive housing and I'm taking video and I want to utilize that 4K clarity zoom or that 8K sensor clarity zoom, I could not activate it because in the Ace Pro, the only way to activate that clarity zoom is via the screen touch. And when it's in a housing, you have no access to the screen controls whatsoever. Now, I found a backdoor way to do this. The only way to activate the clarity zoom in a dive housing was to have it save it as a preset, meaning that you would have to use the side quick keys to go to a video setting that had clarity zoom enabled. Okay, and I did that with diving, and I found out that you can actually program it in a preset and then just activate it underwater by using the power. So you just had to really remember which preset had the clarity zoom activated. And sometimes you're scrolling and you don't know which one it is, right? I wish they changed one more thing on the Ace Pro 2, and I thought they were going to do this, was to be able to rename presets. I'm surprised they don't allow you to do that. To be able to name different presets would be awesome to do, and I hope that Insta360 is watching that and they can take that into their development team for the next firmware update. If you go to the settings, and you'll see a customized power button mode. This is brilliant. So let's say if I'm underwater and I have a dive housing in, I can program my power button to do two things. So when it's not recording, it goes to default in terms of mode selection. So you can select different modes like time lapse or time shift and that kind of thing. Now you can also program it though while it's recording. When I hit that power button, I can program it. I don't know if you guys can see this. I can program it to do several things. So I can have it to add a marker, screen off, clarity zoom, pause, resume, record, take photo while recording, or enter pre-recording, which is kind of neat too, because two settings were only screen related. You can only activate via the screen. One was to activate the clarity zoom. The other one was to take a photo while recording. So I've got mine set to clarity zoom. Go back. So when I'm recording, okay, you'll notice there's a little circle that pops up. Okay, that's to take a photo while you're recording. And that's the same with the Ace Pro as well. Okay, and it's only on-screen accessible. Ace Pro 2 gives you customizable power key on the left. You can either set it to take a photo if you want, or you can set it to go into clarity zoom mode. So I'm recording right now. I do this and I press the side button. It says marked, and that's it, right? On the Ace Pro, that's the default. But I can program this one now. So when I hit this, the power button, you'll notice that it goes into clarity zoom mode. So it's at 2x. Okay, if I hit it back again, and it goes back to 1x. There's a bit of a lag, unfortunately. But if you're underwater, it really doesn't matter, right? So it's kind of neat that it allows you to program that side button for use in a dive housing. And you don't have to use clarity zoom. You can set it to take a photo. So if you're doing underwater video, if you're snorkeling, you want to take a still shot, you can do it by hitting that power button on the left-hand side. So that's a great, great little option. And I'll give you an example here. So I'm going to shut this off just to show you that it does fit. So this is the original OEM housing, dive housing for the Ace Pro. For you to put this in, you need to remove the wind muff cap. You can't even use the regular one on here. Both caps have to be off for you to put this in. I've tried it. You can't even do it with the regular cover. You have to have both of them off, and make sure that you take the guard off as well, the rubber guard, and my guard has to come off. And then you put it in, and it fits perfectly fine. See, so it's in there now. Okay, so this is the dive housing that we normally would use. Now the one that comes with the Ace Pro 2. The Ace Pro 2 dive housing, you'll notice the only difference is the lens cavity. It's kind of rectangular, and I think that's what that rectangular is, just giving that little gap of space in there for the wind muff or the cap, so you don't have to take it off every time you put in a dive housing. Give you an example. So let's say I want to record. I'm recording underwater, and I'm shooting 4K 60, whatever. And oh my goodness, I want to do something in zoom. Like if I want to zoom in closer to like an eel or what, you can't get close to it. You want to utilize a zoom. All I have to do is press the side button once. Oops. And you'll see it'll go into 2x. So I'm in clarity zoom now. And then I can do my video in clarity zoom, right? That's the customized power button. Pretty cool. Awesome. Ciao. Bye. All right, that wraps it up, guys. I'm going to have a drink. It's almost 2025. 2 more days. 2 more days. Happy New Year. It's my Moscow Mule. My favorite. I just want to close off with a couple of final thoughts. First and foremost, I want to thank Insta360 for sending me the Ace Pro 2. It took a while to get to me, just because of the whole bad batch thing, and I'll get into that next year. I'm not gonna do it right now. I don't really know the 100% of what happened there. I have a clue of what's going on, and I do have some information on it. So I'll share that with you once I get a little bit more solidified information. Anyways, it got to me finally. I did get the newer batch. I haven't really tested it yet for that fogging issue. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. It just got warm, so. But from what I've read already, some people have gotten the second batch, the new batch, and they haven't had any fogging issues. I haven't really had a chance to play with the camera just because there's been so many things going on. My son's birthday today. Got New Year's coming up. We got a New Year's Eve party, so I got to get ready for that. So it doesn't stop. Maybe next year I'll stop for a week.
The camera, I like it so far. Build quality is the same. They've done a lot of changes to the, and I'm finding this right now, and these are only some of the things that I've found out so far in 2.5 days. So impressive so far. A couple things I didn't like about it, but that's normal for any camera. The accessories that I got sent, I have the quick charge box, and I think it's great because if you have the X3, X4, the Ace Pro, the quick charge box is nice. That is backwards compatible with charging all those other batteries as well as the Ace Pro 2. So that's going to be really useful. And I'll do a review on that. I've got the metal cage by Urig. I'm going to do some testing with mics for this camera, and I'll relay those to you. I've got the mic mini with the receiver. I've already tried it quickly, plugged it in, and it worked really well. And I want to test it on the Hohem iSteady V3 gimbal as well. But that's next year. Anyways, one thing again, thank you Insta360 for that. They have no say in my reviews. It's all 100% me. I'm not sponsored. I'm not paid. They see the video the same time you guys see the video, so it's just as much of a surprise for them as you. That said, I want to change a few things up next year in my channel. I took a little bit of a break from YouTube. As you can see, I kind of had a little bit of a hiatus. It was getting a little stressful for me. I got to the point where I was getting caught up with, no, my camera's better than your camera, and I want to get away from that. It's just too stressful. I was getting to the point where I was getting threats. People were threatening me, calling me names and stuff like that. And I almost just quit YouTube. Just a forewarning for the people who come into my channel and being rude. I will block you and I will hide your comments. So I will not tolerate that anymore in the next year. So just so you know, if you're going to come in the channel and be unproductive and be rude to me or to the other subscribers, I'll take you out of my channel and I'll block your comments. And it's that simple, guys. I just there's enough crap in this world, and YouTube is supposed to be kind of a fun place to be, and you're supposed to take something out of my videos that's useful, right? Guys, it's not a UFC arena on YouTube for me. So you've been warned. It's almost New Year's, guys. I hope you guys have a party to go to or a nice dinner or something. We've got a party going on finally with friends. But I'm getting too old for New Year's, man. Like by the time midnight rolls around, I'm like sleeping. I'm too tired to party. I'm getting too old to party. I can't take hangovers anymore. But if you guys are partying, guys, I gotta say this: just be careful. If you're out partying with friends and stuff like that, make sure you don't drive. Take an Uber home, take the transit home, take a taxi home, whatever you have to do. Just stay safe. I'm just going to wrap things up. Happy New Year and wish you the best. I'll see you guys on the flip side next year. Ciao.